What's up, y'all? It is Unpopular Opinion, and I am here with another video. I want to introduce you all to what I'm calling before and after. This is a character analysis for LAMH, just trying to give everybody something different. I mean, we love the show, we love the discussion, but let's elevate it up a little bit. So, I want to talk about the character arc of all of the LAMH character. And so, I want to start with the Melody Cherie Rogers, previously Holt. Her character archetype is the creator. So, to find out what I mean about that, to learn more about what I mean as far as a character arc, character analysis, just ride with me for a little bit. So, let's get into it. So, what are the character traits of Melody Cherie? And I'm going to say Hope for a little while because she started out that way, and we're talking about the character transformation. Okay, so we met Melody Cherie Holt on Love and Marriage Huntsville season one. And her key character traits are confident, driven, and stoic. So we're pretty much familiar with confident and driven. But if you don't know what stoic means, that just means that she is very consistent emotionally. She doesn't show a lot of authentic, vulnerable emotions. Um, and so, what that looks like is in the face of challenges, in the face of disappointment, um, she will likely default to a neutral stance or position or mood where you are not very likely to see her react in the moment. So, she's very, when it comes to her feelings and her emotions, she's very intelligent emotionally, and she is very guarded as it relates to who she is vulnerable with. So, stoic, you can take that to mean guarded, emotionally guarded. Um, she is very much interested in the goings on and the lives of others. She is inquisitive. She's likes to ask a lot of questions. She likes to ask probing questions to get to know people on very deep level. But as far as you being able to get any of that from her, um, she's not really going to give you a whole lot. Okay, so that's just her general kind of character traits and a description of who she is in general. Again, I don't know her, but I know the TV character. And so what I'm analyzing is the television character Melody on the television show Love and Marriage Huntsville. Okay. We also know that Melody is passionate, right? Like when we met her at the beginning of the show, she had it going on, right? She's successful. She's building this brand with her and her husband, Holt and Hope. She's really great at branding. You can see that as far as just the set, how their business was set up, and the care that they both took with the business. Her being in the office, running the office, making sure all the projects were organized. Martell being out on the job sites, making sure that boots are on the ground. I mean, they just work very well together. They even dressed alike. She had a vision of what she wanted her family to be and what she wants her future to be. So part of the archetype, the creator, Melody is trying to create something. Again, she has a vision for her in her mind of what she wants her life and her family and her marriage to be, and you can see evidence of the foundation that she's building from the very beginning. Her mimosas with Melody events, her multiple speaking engagements, even the way that she would speak life into other women. Like she wanted to be one of the who's who of Huntsville, and she was well on her way. Um, I also believe that Melody had grander aspirations beyond Huntsville at a point, but this still feeds into the creator archetype that she is building something. She is building an identity. She is building a future. She is building a legacy for herself and her family, and at that time, including her marriage and her relationship with her husband. Um, and so that is a core trait of Melody Holt at the time. She's also persistent. We saw that a lot when we're talking about the comeback group, right? Um, when the group was coming together to talk about goals, Melody was always very much decisive, very much coming with the hard facts and the hard questions, not being really much of a team player. Um, and that also speaks into her personality a bit as well. She's interested in climbing the corporate ladder, as we just kind of discussed, but she's also interested in kind of just being non-conforming. Okay, so she's likely going to do the opposite of what she thinks you expect of her, and that is part of um, her character. And again, we're talking about character as in TV character, book characters. I'm not speaking about her actual character as a person. We're just talking about her as a television character. So, in order to talk about a character arc, we have to talk about some key events or defining events in the story that creates the shift in character for our friends here, like Melody. So, one of the first things that I noticed for Melody as a key event was the decision to reveal the infidelity. Okay. So, Melody is very strategic. She is controlling and she is stubborn. We start to see these character traits emerge at around the time that she has a decision to reveal the infidelity. The stubborn piece has been there the entire time. I kind of just talked about that. But as far as being strategic and controlling, Melody decided, again, it says the decision. Melody made the decision to reveal her infidelity on the show because she knew that it would make for really good television. And again, she is a creator. She is trying to create a certain kind of life for herself and her family. She pitched this television show. She's familiar with reality TV, and she knows that you need a little bit of drama. She made the decision to reveal this to the show, although the rest of the cast was told not to talk about it. Her husband didn't think that he was going to be talking about it. So Melody strategically made the decision to bring this information to the show without including others in that decision. And this is what kind of causes the event to be a key event in the development of Melody, because it doesn't exactly go over the way that she wanted it to. Again, Melody is not necessarily vulnerable. She's stoic. She is controlled. She is emotionally intelligent. She's only going to give what she wants to give in the way she wants to give it. And that's what I mean by controlling. I don't mean it as in being a controlling person over someone else. I just means that she controls the environments that she's in. And a lot of that is to protect her vulnerability. When you have people who are not comfortable showing a lot of emotions, they like to have a lot of control around them so that they know what to expect and they have time to process and determine how they want to respond. And so I do not think that Melody believed that revealing the infidelity was going to lead to the dissolution of her marriage. Um, there are lots of examples in other reality television shows where infidelity did not lead to divorce. I think that Melody felt that her relationship was strong enough and that they were building something strong enough that they would overcome this. People can disagree with me or not, but I really do believe that Melody thought that they would overcome this and that that entire story would be good for television. But that isn't exactly what happened. So, we can start to even see visibly how Melody's attitude, her disposition started to change. Again, she's typically stoic. However, after the reveal of the infidelity, we started to see this very angry, sad, helpless, hurt emotion from Melody. I don't believe this is what she wanted to give. I think that this is what it really was. This was actual real life. And so she was losing control in this space. This is where Melody starts to lose the control. Now, again, the strategy, the confidence, the drive, all of those things have been defining characteristics for her and have served her well. When she decided to make this shift and reveal something very personal to her with the expectation that she would be able to control it so that it would be safe, that isn't what happened. Martell did not stop the affair. It was much deeper than what Melody knew when she revealed the infidelity. She thought that she was going to be talking about something that was mostly in the past. It was hurtful, it was harmful, but I think that she still had hope that it would work out, which is partially why they ended up having a fourth child together. So let's be honest about that. I do not think that she thought that this would be the end. The wild card was Martell. Martell, and we'll do a character arc for him as well. The wild card was they were not on the same page. I don't think that she assessed that situation well enough to know if he was really truly done. And you've heard her say this, like, we were still going on dates. He was still really, caring for me. And I was really blindsided because I thought that it was over. Like, I was tricked. And so you can start to see, like, in these clips here of her disposition being a lot different than what I showed previously, right? Like, she doesn't look as confident. She is much more emotional. She is much more out of control, meaning out of the control that she likes to keep for herself. Okay, so this also begins the resentment of Martell. Okay, so stick with it. One thing that's also true about Melody is that she will hold a grudge until the end of time. Okay, so as much as loyalty is something that she values from other people, the flip side of loyalty is is vengeance. Okay, so the look that you see where Melody kind of turns and rolls her eyes, when you get that look from her, you're done. It will always be done. This is the beginning of the end. She will never forgive you. She is not a forgiving person. So that just speaks to, again, personality. So she will not forgive or forget for even the slightest of offenses. Okay, this is a personality trait. So Martell's the what is it? The nail was in the coffin for him when this started to go left. When she wasn't able to control it. The worst part about this is that it was on television. So that adds to her embarrassment and her feelings about all these things. Whereas when it wasn't public, it wasn't at this magnitude. She was able to um, maybe forgive Martell, not forget, but they were able to work through it. But once this became public in this way, and she couldn't control what people thought about it and how they received it and where this whole story went in real life, that was a definitely key event in this storyline for Melody. So the defining event, in my opinion, when we're thinking about the character arc of Melody, is the fallout behind the decision to reveal her infidelity and the response of the cast. Okay, so again, I kind of just alluded to this. Melody, I think she thought, I would put this out there. We're going to work through it. We're going to show folks how you get through infidelity. I'm going to do some speaking engagements about it. Me and Martell going to come up on stage. We're going to talk about it. We're going to heal people. We're going to be a power couple. This show is going to be great. Wild card, Martell wasn't done dealing with his mistress. The narrative got bigger because people really took to the show. The cast members were not made aware from Melody directly that they were supposed to talk about it. So when the camera started asking them questions about it, they did not handle the questions with the level of care that I think Melody also envisioned. I think she strategically and in her plan, she thought that all of this would go one way and it started to go another way. And you can start to see again the change in her disposition. So in the very beginning, she was lighter. She was she smiled more. She was a much, now she's always going to be intense. She's always going to be who she is, but she had a lighter, more carefree spirit and aura. And as you can see here from these clips, once the fallout came and the cast responded the way that it did, this clip here of Melody in the black, the way that she's looking, these are two very key looks that Melody gives. The one with the "what you mean, what you talking about," like that face, that's a bullshit face, first of all. That face means she knows exactly what you're talking about. She's trying to gaslight you. That's what that face is. The next face where she has the dark hair, That face is, oh, y'all really gonna try to play me, huh? Don't worry about it. I got something for you. Those are the two faces of Melody that you have to watch out for on this show. And they're very telling. She makes these faces every time. The first face is a gaslight, like, oh, your husband ain't cheating on you? Okay, well, Or I did what? I cheated too. What you mean? Like, she's gonna give that face when she's trying to gaslight you. She knows exactly what you're talking about. And you're right, but she's going to make it seem as if you're wrong and you're out of your mind. That's one thing that she does. And the other one, when you finally do have her and you finally did hit a nerve, this is the look that you're going to get. And when you get that look, you may as well get your purse and go ahead and go somewhere and sit down, because she's done. And she will make, again, the creator, by hook or by crook, Melody is going to get what it is that she wants in the end. No matter what she has to sacrifice, who she has to sacrifice, whatever it is that she needs to do, she's going to keep that number one goal that she had in her mind, that is going to remain consistent. And the consistency is, Melody wants to be, I won't necessarily say famous, but she wants to be successful. And her success for herself and her family, more so herself, is going to trump any and everything. It becomes a hook or by crook situation. And that's where we talk about the arc. Um, and so, in my opinion, Melody has a moral descending character arc. So that means that this is like the when someone says their villain story, right? So she has a moral descending arc. That means that she is basically descending into darkness, if you will. Okay. I know that that might sound a little bit extreme, but that's really much what it is. She is going from, it's like a good girl gone bad archetype, or character arc. Um, and when we talk more about the creator, something that I found online just basically said it's kind of like a mad scientist, right? Um, uh, she's obsessed with a single goal, and that is her creation. And her creation is what it is that she's building for her family and herself. Her need to be successful, her need to be at the top of her game, her need to be viewed as um, a hero. That is what her creation is, and she is obsessed with that single goal. And she's willing to sacrifice herself and others to reach that goal. And so, as you see Melody kind of like move throughout this series, this is how she got here, and you can see the shift even in her appearance. So we look here. This is when we've kind of had that arc. Like, she went from very well put together, Southern Stepford wife, matching outfits with my husband, meticulous hair, meticulous clothes, down to playing with different looks. You know, the cornrows now, the wigs, the lace fronts, is much more. I mean, she's always been sassy, but there's more of a sting in the way that she talks. Um, and so we see this kind of dissension into darkness. Now, I'm not mad at it. I don't mind Melody as a villain. I think that she has a good villain story. I'm going to make some connections. Like, one other major event that's part of her dissension, or one of her key events, was that conversation that she had with Letitia, where Letitia said to her, "You need to go. You need to be talking about that BMW that he bought that girl." That was another event that's part of that same time frame, right? Where she was not expecting that response, and it exposed her and made her vulnerable to the world. And for that reason, she will never, ever like Letitia. Now, I'm going to do a character comparison and talk about how characters relate to other characters, because I do have notes about Melody versus Letitia and why that's an oil and water situation. But I'm going to say that for another video. It makes a lot of sense. And I'm not saying that anyone is right or wrong. I'm just saying that I get what that issue is about. But from Melody's perspective, that was below the belt. Now, it is debatable because there are some other things that happened before that, but we're not talking about that right now. We're just talking about the character traits of Melody. She likes to be in control. She likes to be able um, to not only have control over environments, but she also is very much she's driven, and she is vengeful. She's unforgiving for even the slightest of offenses. Okay. And so I think that this entire situation for her has taken her through so many phases, and she's had to do this publicly in front of a camera. So against her will, her vulnerabilities have been exposed, and she's trying to overcompensate. That's where you see like the hair and the music videos and the YouTube and all of the things that she's trying to overcompensate and build on top of that space of feeling vulnerable and exposed. So right now, what you're getting from Melody is what you see here on this screen. You're getting cold because she's trying to overcompensate from her not giving consent to the vulnerability that she's been forced to show. So now you're going to get you get the cruelness, you get her dark side. Okay. And again, this is what I'm meaning about that descending character arc. Okay. So some things that Melody dislikes, I think, from just a character perspective, she doesn't like anything that is dull. She doesn't like um, people who are weak. She doesn't like folks who don't have a backbone. To her, this is what she perceives. She cannot stand disloyalty. Um, and so you'll see that kind of play out in how she interacts with the rest of the cast. So this is my little take on the character arc of Melody. I think that her archetype is the creator. I think that she is going to get what she wants by hook or by crook. And no matter who has to go under the bus, they will, for the realization of what it is that she's trying to create. And that is a certain future for herself. And that's what she's looking out for. And she is kind of having a downward moral descent. This is definitely a good girl turned bad story, and looking forward to see what comes of it. It could be fun.